I'd like to call the October 17th, 2022 Common Council meeting to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Vincent.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Clerk Treasurer Parthune.
Councilman Vincent.
Here.
Councilman Galloway.
Here.
Councilman Frankie, absent. Councilwoman Ficus. I'm all
Present.
screwed up.
Sorry.
Councilman Cutler.
Present.
Councilwoman West, absent. And Councilwoman Konechny, absent. So we have 4 present, 3 absent.
After that terrible showing of Notre Dame, I thought you'd be the one not here today.
But they did great in Las Vegas.
Approval of minutes, do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as presented. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Petitions and comments of citizens. I do have 2. Let's begin with Mr. Cager. If you'd come forward, state your name and address for the record. Keep it to 3 minutes or less, and
Brian Cager, 406 Mason Street, LaPorte, obviously. One comment, thank you. I'm glad the house came down on Monroe Street. That's awesome. It's a source eyesight that's gone. And 2 questions, and maybe you guys aren't even the people to ask. Do we have a plan, seeing how the railroad decided to put 60 foot of reflectors up on each side? You know, we can get 3 foot of snow overnight. Do we have a plan to make sure that we're not driving on 7 foot of roadway? Because I live over there. I don't know how they're going to honestly keep the snow from being a 6 foot pile in the middle of our railroad tracks. Like that, or the plows are just gonna take them out, one or the other. So, like, the railroad tracks, especially on most of those streets, now we have literally reflectors, like 40 or 60 foot on each side, if you guys haven't been on that side of town yet. So, do we have a plan?
yes,
Because
and
I don't know honestly how we're going to keep how we're going to keep it clear. So, and then also the other question would be, trash. As the city, are we making any headway with a new trash company? Because, and again, maybe you guys don't have the answers or whatever, but our trash has been horrific for the past couple of years, and I would hope that their contract is running out and we can actually get somebody in here that picks up trash. And when you make a formal paid large pickup, they actually pick it up. Because this company out of Connecticut or wherever they're from, they're not doing their job. So.
thank you. And I can update the public, and again, the contract that was done before our administration is coming to an end, and bids will actually be introduced, and I think going out Thursday. So many trash companies will have the opportunity to bid. Based on what we've experienced in the last 3.5 years, we've put some other information in the bid to make sure customer service, responding to people, expectations, and we're not going to tolerate what's been going on and, you know, what we inherited. So we're excited to have a fresh start from all bidders, and we'll see what happens, you know, from the bid. But we'll see what the cost is as well. Those costs have gone up, but I want a responsible quality company that's going to respond and take care of the residents.
Mayor, I have a comment on that.
Please.
The last time they put it out for bids, what this company got, no trucks could be over 5 years old. They were supposed to have monitors or whatever in their trucks to get a hold if they missed somebody. The company that actually got the bid, they bid out all the work. They own no equipment at all. I was clerk treasurer, and I couldn't figure out how they got that bid. They were all going on tiers, or just get the service, say, you know, twice a year we have this, pick up the trash, have somebody we can get hold of if there's a problem. they made it too complicated, and still don't know how that other company got that bid.
Well, we're excited to have a shot with this administration to bid out trash, and again, high standards, high expectation is going to be the key. And we'll be directly involved with that, so thank you. Oh, as part of the snow reflectors, obviously you've seen the addition of those barriers, which leads us to a quiet zone, which is a part of our community and has been trying for years. This is almost the last step to becoming a quiet zone, and what I'll do is have our street department reach out to you, Brian, to make sure you're aware of the plan of how they're going to plow across the tracks where these barriers are. But this is one federal requirement to lead us to a quiet zone.
So there's more steps to this quiet zone because they're still blowing their whistles.
Right, I mean, it's a process, you have to do these things, so we put them in, then we go back, and we hope by the end of the year, we'll be officially called, or have a quiet zone. So you can open your windows again at night. Charity Lasfa.
Good evening, everybody. Charity Lafsa from the Port Small Business Coalition, 403 Willow Bend Drive. I just wanted to let everybody know that the Spooktacular last Saturday was fabulous. We had a conservative 3,000 people downtown. It was crazy, but everybody had a good time. The hay maze went over very well. We got the hay delivered, set up in less than an hour and a half. I thought it was going to take us all night, but it was quick and easy, and picked up the next day. So it was a great event. 50 businesses, confirmed businesses, and maybe more. I don't. We didn't even include Parker in that 50 count. So yeah, it was a great time, and so we were very pleased to put that on, and that it was such a great showing. So thank you.
And Charity, thank you, and thank you for wearing that pumpkin. You know, you looked great in the pumpkin, and anything for the kids.
I saved it for you, so you can
Yes.
wear it.
Thank you. Standing committee reports. Councilman Vincent.
Nothing this evening.
Councilman Galloway.
November 10th, 10:30 at the Civic Auditorium will be the 35th Annual Veterans. And they're going to have a lunch afterwards at the VFW for all veterans from 12 to 3 o'clock. And they will start with donuts at 9 to 10:15 in the morning in the Civic. And their next meeting then won't be till March 13th next year. Police Merit Commission, there was really nothing to report on. Patton Cemetery, November 5th from 8 to 12 to clean up.
Councilwoman Cutler.
At the Business Improvement District Board meeting, it was reported that flowers in the downtown planters have been removed and the water shut off for the season. The bid will hold off on dirt refill to the planters until spring so that irrigation repairs can be made. The long-term planning subcommittee of the bid board met with the Hitchcock Design Group last month, and Craig Phillips will be conducting a presentation for the board regarding the long-term planning at the next board meeting. And that next meeting of the bid board will be Monday, November 14th at 5 p.m. at City Hall. And the October meeting of the Urban Enterprise Association Board was canceled due to lack of business. The next meeting of the UEA will be on Wednesday, November 16th at 3 p.m. at the LEAP offices. And third, the Alcohol Beverage Review Commission will be meeting on Thursday, October 20th at 2 p.m. to review an application from Bare Bones LLC. That's it.
Councilwoman Ficus.
Park Board will be meeting this Wednesday, October 19th, 4 p.m. at the Park office, and the next meeting of the Traffic Commission will be Tuesday, November 1st, 5 p.m. at the police station.
Thank you. So many of you, all of you know that the city of LaPorte had one of its worst fires in the history of our community, and I'll tell you what, we are so thankful for the professionals, those that care about our community, care about our county, all the work that they put in, the hours, putting themselves at risk, and this is an opportunity tonight to say thank you. And it was so great to see so many different departments, fire departments, working well together for the city of LaPorte, and I believe we owe them a round of gratitude. So I've asked Chief Andy Snyder to come forward. Andy, come on forward and take the lead, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Yeah, as the mayor mentioned, on the morning of October 5th at about 12:25 in the morning, our department was dispatched to a structure fire at 315 Brighton Street. Our initial crews arrived on scene to heavy smoke, heavy fire. They were able to make an initial attack. We did have an idea of what was in that building at the time, which would limit us to our resources. We very quickly into the incident realized that this was going to be something that we weren't going to be able to handle with the on-duty crews. We did ask for all shifts to be paged out. That takes some time, and we also realized that as we've come to expect and even hope for, that the volunteers that support us, that we support with our mutual aid agreement with them, they also would be there for us. We immediately, or shortly into it, asked for some assistance from Center Township first, then Kankakee Township, and then Cool Spring Township. They were on the scene quickly, and I will say, to sum this all up, we would not have had the results had they not been there for us. In short, our crews, their crews working together, like the mayor said, was amazing. What they brought to the table and interacted with us, it was seamless. It's like we were training every day for this type of thing. And short of it is that we didn't save the building. We didn't expect to, knowing what was in it. But the goal was ultimately the water tower was right in the center of that complex. I stand here before you, I can tell you right now that that water tower would not be standing if it wasn't between the collective efforts of all those departments. So again, we put about 5.7 million gallons total, almost 6 million gallons of water on that fire before we could call it out. Cool Spring brought their aerial. Again, an aerial device was just paramount to make this happen. Center Township brought theirs, and Kankakee Township covered the front of the building, covered that water tower, and protected it to make it standing like it is right now. Again, I think that with what we saw burning inside of it, and what we were unaware of that was burning inside there were also disinfectant wipes, which started to go airborne, which could have caught a lot more area on fire besides what we originally thought. The water streams were able to keep those subdued and keep them at the complex too. Again, I can't compliment them enough. Ultimately, we spent 66.5 hours on that scene, trying to put out the fire. So about Friday afternoon, about 6:30 in the afternoon, a little after 6:30 in the afternoon is when we were able to leave. Volunteer departments were luckily able to go home, but they put in a full day on Wednesday to make sure that we were at a point where it was safe for us to continue our operations. So having said that, again, as the mayor mentioned, I can't thank them enough other than to ask them to be here tonight along with our guys and to say that Cool Spring, unfortunately, I don't think Center was able to make it, but Cool Spring has representatives here, Kankakee has representatives here. And a little side note to that too, one that people don't think of, with all of those resources being placed into one spot, it left the rest of the entire city uncovered. What I'm getting to is that Scipio Township, we've been working with the other townships that in these cases, we asked for other townships to step into our stations or at least stand by. Scipio Township covered, I believe it was 4 calls that day. Yeah, 4 other calls needed for assistance within the city that we were unable to handle because we had not only all of our on-duty personnel out on the fire scene, but also off-duty personnel out there. So again, I cannot thank them enough other than to ask them to be here and publicly thank them for all of their efforts and all of their what they bring to us.
And Andy, can we name and have all our firefighters and all the volunteers stand up and introduce everybody? Then, since they're part of our team, I'm going to force you guys to take a photo with us up front here, all of us together.
Yep.
Okay.
Let them introduce themselves so that he doesn't have to do
I
it.
gotta come up front, you guys have to come.
Andy, do you want to introduce them, or how do you want to do that?
Hey, I mean, you guys want to introduce your own department? Mick Pollitt, Chief, and
Mr. Mayor, Council, I would like to say one thing here. Chief Snyder, his assistant chiefs, officers, and firemen are probably one of the best investments this city has made. They were well orchestrated for what you guys had handed to you. Everything went, believe it or not, like a well-oiled machine, but this man is very well organized. That's all I want to say.
Well, we're going to,
Warren Smith, Cold Spring Fire Department.
go ahead, Mitch, you want to introduce the rest of your team, and then,
Firefighter Stephen Vogel, Cape Township. Firefighter Tom Doobie. Firefighter Jared Lozette.
guys, we're going to take a photo with you, and then our firefighters.
our firefighters. Go ahead. Kelly Burke, Assistant Chief. Michael Crones, paramedic EMT. Paramedic, sorry, firefighter. Eddie Wineland, Chase Rabowski, Battalion Chief. Little note with Chase, he has lived out there on that site since basically the fire. He's our lead investigator, so he spent the entire, entire last week out there with the State Fire Marshal's office, as well as the dogs that they brought in for investigation, and well as the police, so Chase has done more than his share with it. Zach Caney, Captain. Jake Kazmerzak. Tom Lusko. Is that all?
Guys, we're going to come forward. I want our residents to recognize the team that kept everybody safe, and that's all of you. You're a part of us, so come on forward, gents. We're on our council. Ladies.
That thing, that's kind of dangerous, isn't it? Yeah.
This is fine, man. The short guy is in the back.
Just so the council knows that this is just a small sampling of the firefighters that were out on the scene. At the height of the fire, I think we had about 55 firefighters out on the scene. On the financial end of it, don't worry, I'll be coming back. In previous fire, the previous worst fire that I had, we had one time that we came and had fuel trucks come out and fill the trucks while on scene. We had that happen 5 times during this fire, where the fuel trucks had to come out from Petro Choice and fill up our trucks. So,
And our goal is to be reimbursed for 100% of the cost. That is our goal.
most definitely. We did have some damaged equipment, minimal, but there was equipment that was damaged. There's overtime hours, there's all sorts of, and we will be working with the insurance companies, with our legal department, to make sure that we are reimbursed. Also,
How about uniforms?
5.7 million gallons of water would be nice too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Councilwoman Cutler, second and final reading of an ordinance.
Your Honor, I move to introduce an ordinance read for the second time by title only with 2 amendments.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Cutler.
An ordinance fixing salaries of appointed officers and employees of the City of LaPorte, Indiana for the year 2023. The first one is on page 3. Urban Tree Canopy Grant, Tree Crew Laborer, $18 an hour. And the next one, 2 more pages in, under Utilities, Water, Operations Office Administrator, $45,900. End of ordinance.
And by the way, those 2 were just a couple addition for the Operations Office Administrator Utilities that was not recognized the first time by myself. And then the second is the tree crew.
The tree crew is paid with a grant from the Healthcare Foundation, but it's safer to put it on there for State Board of Accounts purposes, so.
And remember, these salaries are potential maximum salaries. It doesn't mean everybody goes to the max. They can, but not automatically. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on the salaries on this second reading? Anybody from the public that would like to speak? Anybody from the council? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Councilwoman Ficus.
Your Honor, I move to read an ordinance for the second and final time by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Ficus.
An ordinance establishing salaries of elected officials of the City of LaPorte from the general fund for the year 2023. End of ordinance.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on the elected officials' salaries for 2023? Anybody from the public? Hearing none. Anybody from council that would like to speak on public elected official salaries? Hearing none. All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Councilwoman Cutler, public hearing and introduction of an ordinance.
Your Honor, I move to introduce a resolution read for the first and only time in its entirety.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Cutler.
Additional appropriation for seated, park non-reverting, transit, and civic non-reverting. Whereas it has been determined that it is now necessary to appropriate more money than was appropriated in the annual budget. Now therefore, Section 1, be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte, LaPorte County, Indiana, that for the expenses of the taxing unit, the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated out of the fund named and for the purposes specified, subject to the laws governing the same. Seated, 2209-465-415.001 ADA sidewalks, amount requested $125,000, amount approved $125,000. Park non-reverting, 2211-803-391, other services, requested $10,000, approved $10,000. Transit, 2510-304-501, salaries, requested $21,100, approved $21,100. 2510-304-502, employee benefits, requested $3,900, approved $3,900. 2510-304-404, materials and supplies, requested $25,000, approved $25,000. Civic non-reverting, 5504-803-315, event staff, requested $8,000, approved $8,000. 5504-803-351, utilities, requested $6,000, approved $6,000. And 5504-803-391, other services, requested $125,000, approved $125,000. End of resolution.
So this is a resolution. It can pass this evening. Do I have a motion to approve?
You have to do a
So moved.
public hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. As a part of this, we will have a public hearing. These are some additional appropriations that happen throughout the year, especially near year end. I will now open to a public meeting. Has there been a?
Yes, we have an affidavit of publication, proof of publication from the Herald Dispatch. This was published on October 5th, 2022.
Is there anybody that would like to speak from the public regarding seated, park non-reverting, transit, or civic non-reverting? Anybody from the public? Hearing none, I will now close the public hearing. Discussion, council? Any discussion? I do have a motion and a second. Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Councilman Vincent.
Honorable Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to introduce an ordinance read in its entirety for the first time this evening.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilman Vincent.
An ordinance establishing stop signs, both northbound and southbound, on Whispering Boulevard at its intersection with Allison Lane and its intersection with Ohio Street. Whereas the Traffic Commission, after due consideration, has recommended to the Common Council of the City of LaPorte that stop signs should be placed on Whispering Boulevard at its intersection with Allison Lane and its intersection with Ohio Street. Now therefore, be it and it is hereby ordained by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte, Indiana, that Section 1, stop signs will be placed on Whispering Boulevard, both northbound and southbound, at its intersection with Allison Lane. Section 2, a stop sign will be placed on Whispering Boulevard at its intersection with Ohio Street. Section 3, this ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon its passage, approval by the mayor, and publication by law as required. End of ordinance.
Councilwoman Ficus, would you care to, as head of our Traffic Commission,
Okay.
little breakdown of this?
Okay, and in keeping with our 30 for 30, Phase 7 has started or been developed in Whispering Meadows. So now Whispering Boulevard actually goes through from Monroe Street all the way to Ohio Street. Even though the streets have been designed with curves in them to slow traffic, now that it's kind of a thoroughfare, cars are kind of going a little fast through there. So this will just make it, a stopping point in this subdivision, and then it actually will, there isn't one, now that we connected to Ohio Street, there wasn't a stop sign there, so that's an obvious one. So that's basically all it is.
Safety first, and if you haven't had an opportunity to step out, drive out to Whispering Meadows, amazing development that's been happening with a local developer, and we're so thankful for that. And anybody from the public that would like to speak on this? Anybody, any council members would like to speak on this? Hearing none, we will now move this to the next meeting, which, believe it or not, is it really November?
It's November.
No,
November
Yeah, it would be November
7th.
November 7th.
yeah.
Wow.
Right before Election Day.
Councilwoman Ficus, introduction of an ordinance.
Your Honor, I move to introduce an ordinance read for the first time in its entirety.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Ficus.
An ordinance establishing a stop sign on Lakeshore Drive at the intersection of Greenleaf and Illinois Avenue. Whereas the Traffic Commission, after due consideration, has recommended that the Common Council of the City of LaPorte that a stop sign should be placed on Lakeshore Drive at its intersection with Greenleaf and Illinois Avenues. Now therefore be it, and it is hereby ordained by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte, Indiana, that Section 1, a stop sign will be placed on Lakeshore Drive at its intersection with Greenleaf and Illinois Avenues. Section 2, this ordinance shall be in full force and effective upon its passage, approval by the mayor, and publication as required by law. End of ordinance.
Would you care to share?
And this is just, I don't know if everybody knows, if you're going down to the lake by Lakeshore Drive, it's a wide intersection, but Illinois comes through at Greenleaf, Lakeshore, and there's no stops anywhere on there. So again, for safety, it was brought to our attention, so we think that we need to place stop signs there as well.
Maybe our engineer could do a mini roundabout.
There's enough room.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on this? Anybody from the public? Council members, any questions, thoughts, comments? Hearing none, we will also move this ordinance to its second reading on November 7th. Councilman Vincent, introduction of a resolution.
Honorable Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to introduce a resolution this evening.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Councilman Vincent.
Resolution of the Common Council of LaPorte, Indiana, approving application for a municipal riverfront alcohol permit filed by Blue Room LLC. Whereas Indiana Code, Section 7.1-3-20, authorizes the legislative body of the city or city within the state of Indiana to designate and establish boundaries of a municipal riverfront development project within its territorial boundaries. And whereas Section 16 of the Act allows the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission to issue three-way, two-way, or one-way non-transferable permits to sell alcoholic beverages on premises consumption only to an applicant who is the proprietor, as owner or leasee or both of a restaurant within the municipal riverfront development project, funded in part with state and city money, without regard to any permit quotas as required by Indiana Code Section 7.1-3-22, all in furtherance of economic development. And whereas the city of LaPorte is carrying out redevelopment activities along Lily Lake Channel, which is located within the redevelopment area known as TIF 1, established by the LaPorte Redevelopment Commission under Resolution 7-2019, under the authority provided in Indiana Code Section 36-7-14. And whereas on August 28th, 2019, the LaPorte Redevelopment Commission adopted Resolution Number 7-2019, recommended the creation of a municipal riverfront development project to encourage economic growth and development in the project area, along with local rules governing the issuance and renewal of applications for any permit authorized pursuant to the terms of this resolution. And whereas the act authorizes the municipal riverfront development project to have boundaries of up to 3,000 or 6 city blocks away from the waterway, and whereas the commission has determined that its boundaries of the municipal riverfront development project, as identified on Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference, and whereas on November 1, 2021, the Common Council adopted Resolution R-18-2021, whereby the Common Council designated the area identified on Exhibit A as a municipal riverfront development project pursuant to Indiana Code Section 7.1-3-20-16 and 16.1. And whereas the Common Council thereafter established the LaPorte Alcohol Beverage Review Committee to recommend to the Common Council and Mayor applications for alcohol permits, that the LaPorte Alcohol Beverage Review Committee will strengthen the economic vitality of the municipal riverfront district and entire community. And whereas the LaPorte Alcohol Beverage Review Committee has indicated that it has received the application from Thaddeus C. Cutler on behalf of Blue Room LLC dated August 4, 2022 for a three-way riverfront alcohol permit for Blue Room LLC located at 822 Lincoln Way, LaPorte, Indiana, 46350 as the applicant, which the LaPorte Alcohol Beverage Review Committee believes will strengthen the economic vitality of the municipal riverfront district and entire community. And whereas the LaPorte Alcohol Beverage Review Committee has made recommendations to the Common Council that the council approve the request of Thaddeus C. Cutler on behalf of Blue Room LLC in the application, and that the mayor certify to the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission that Blue Room LLC has met the statutory requirements to obtain a retailer's alcohol permit for beer, wine, and liquor pursuant to the City of LaPorte's Riverfront Development Ordinance. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte that, 1, the request of Blue Room LLC for a three-way riverfront alcohol permit at 822 Lincoln Way, LaPorte, Indiana, 46350 is hereby approved. 2, the mayor shall certify to the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission that Blue Room LLC has met the statutory requirements to obtain a retailer's alcohol permit for beer, wine, and liquor pursuant to the City of LaPorte's Riverfront Development Ordinance. 3, Blue Room LLC is hereby permitted to apply for a retailer's alcohol permit for beer, wine, and liquor with the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission under the City of LaPorte's Riverfront Development Ordinance. 4, the City Council hereby revokes resolution, you'll have to help me on the resolution number, Nick, previously granted in error for Thaddeus C. Cutler Gallery. And 5, the resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its adoption. End of ordinance.
So this is a resolution. This is fantastic news, especially when a local business owner, successful business owner, continues to invest in our community, so very excited. Before we go to resolution, Mr. Otis.
It's just correcting the legal name for the business that will have the license. Additionally, the reason I had stepped out, I just wanted to make sure, because we have 4 people here tonight and Councilwoman Cutler can't vote, we still have a majority for the quorum, so we can have a vote on it. So,
We can.
yes.
Okay.
So this is a resolution. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And we will have 3 members voting with 1 abstaining. Could I ask Thaddeus, put him on the spot, come forward, tell us a little bit about the Blue Room, and I just want to know how quickly you're going to get that going, so we're excited with what you will be
Yeah.
bringing to the downtown.
First off, I just want to apologize that I have to do this all over again. When we were finalizing our application, our legal counsel advised us to actually create a separate LLC to apply for this. The good news is, in the interim, we've actually been doing a lot of the groundwork. The county health department has already approved all of our design layout, so we're going to begin the remodel process immediately. And we've also had our initial meetings with state excise, and so all very encouraging. So we're hoping quickly.
Questions for Thaddeus? Mr. Cutler, thank you. Anybody from the public that would like to speak on this? Mr. Rick Ogle, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Rick Ogle, 1902 Indiana Ave, LaPorte. I'm just curious, do you know how many liquor licenses are in town? Do you know how it used to be to get a liquor license? I understand that everything has changed now. How many liquor licenses are in town now?
Available?
No, that are
Oh.
been issued,
Are you talking about for the riverfront or your,
total. I mean, because they're all the same now.
no, they're not they're not even close to the same. These are non-transferable.
Are they able to sell retail?
Yes, but they're not
Okay,
transferable.
that's all I'm
You
saying.
own, I don't know if you still own one, but the traditional liquor licenses are owned and can be transferred from restaurant to bar to, these cannot be transferred.
I had a Class E, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what I was able to do.
Right.
But since the
But I'm just asking, what about for protection? I have nothing against
Sure.
this happening. I'm just curious. Police may have to respond, correct? Do you know how many liquor licenses are being used in this town?
Well, I can't speak off the top of my head. I can find it till tomorrow. There's a few, but I guess the
A few, there's at least 35, I would have to think.
sure, and the Indiana legislature, and I was there when we passed the lake.
I'm not saying.
Sure.
That it's wrong.
Right.
I'm not saying everything that's happened is wrong. I'm just wondering, is there going to be a ceiling put on or not? I mean, will there be 100 liquor licenses? I'm just curious.
Well, I don't think.
I'm not in the business anymore, so I
Right.
really don't,
So again, the expansion, and I'll speak from my perspective, is going to be related to any river licenses. Any additional ones would have to come through there, and there are limits on where you can put it and so forth. And I think there's still opportunity for more that would like to see, just to be frank. That doesn't mean there will be more, but
Has anyone been turned down?
Yes.
Have they?
Can I speak to this?
Please.
Yeah, when we developed it, we have had applications and we have turned people down. First of all, you have to be a restaurant. You have to qualify as a restaurant. It's not adding more bars or pubs at all. So Bare Bones is a restaurant, and we're going to be fulfilling that requirement, being a restaurant, the hours that we keep, how we serve. These are not for people who want to open a bar or pub. You cannot. So that's one of the requirements of the riverfront. So we have turned some down. People have asked for them, and we've reviewed applications. I believe Brett serves on it. Chief Breton serves on it. So you're talking about police force. Chief Breton serves on it as well, Rick. So, yeah, we're really careful. But there is a meeting this Thursday, too, which you're welcome to sit in on, because we're
I'd love
reviewing
to,
another
but I have to
application.
go to Pennsylvania to meet my new great-grandson.
congratulations.
Congratulations. But seriously, thank you for your concern, too, because certainly we don't want to overextend that, but it is within a specific boundary for economic development, and it is not for bars or pubs, it's for arts, entertainment, restaurant,
Okay, thanks for
smaller
clearing that
venue.
up.
Right, what's that?
I said, thanks for clearing that up.
You're welcome.
But what we've
My
seen.
3 minutes are up, I'm sure.
But also with in other communities, the multiple restaurants has been good for everybody. It's helped, having one of each, and I know some have suggested that has not worked well. And so this is an opportunity with an established group of people that have invested in the city of LaPorte. So I do have a motion and a second. Are there further comments from the public? Any comments from the council? Hearing none.
I guess I would just point out, and I get Mr. Ogle's point, but the legislature created these for communities to take advantage of this. And I think that, like a lot of things, supply and demand will work itself out with, because is there an annual fee with it, I believe, if I recall correctly, and it's not cheap. So I think there, and I'm not picking on Mr. Ogle, but there were liquor license owners that were very much protectionist in this community that did complain about this. But just as the legislature created their liquor licenses, they created this program for our community to encourage restaurants to come here.
Further comment? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Please note that Councilwoman Cutler abstains. Councilman Galloway.
Your Honor, I'd like to introduce a resolution.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, Councilman Galloway.
Resolution to transfer funds within the 2022 budgets. Whereas there are additional monies needed in certain line items in the 2022 budgets in order to pay for essential services and obligations. Now therefore be it, and it is hereby resolved by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte, Indiana, that the following transfers be made within the budgets for the year 2022. General Fund, Board of Works, 1101-077, from 341 Workers' Comp Audit to 351 Utilities, $55,000. Engineering, 1101-306, from 11 Salaries to 312 Engineering Services, $24,000. Police, from 1101 to 370, from 321 Communication Services to 241 Other Supplies, $7,000. Park and Recreation, Beechwood, from 2204-800, from 231 Repairs Maintenance to 221 Operating Supplies, $2,000. From 331 Printing Advertising to 221 Operating Supplies, $500. From 351 Utilities to 321 Communication Transportation, $500. From 361 Repairs Maintenance to 221 Operating Supplies, $5,500. Civic, 2204-801, from 111 Salaries to 211 Office Supplies, $500. From 111 Salaries to 221 Operating Supplies, $500. From 111 Salaries to 321 Communication Transportation, $2,100. From 315 Professional Services to 321 Communication Transportation, $1,200. Park, 2204-803, from 111 Salaries to 221 Operating Supplies, $1,500. From 111 Salaries to 351 Utilities, $2,500. TIF 1 Downtown, 4445-701, from 421 Infrastructure to 315 Professional Services, $80,000. TIF 3 Eastgate, 4447-701, from 421 Infrastructure to 315 Professional Services, $5,000. TIF 4 LaPorte Town Square, 4448-701, from 421 Infrastructure to 315 Professional Services, $5,000.
Thank you. This is a resolution. This can pass this evening. This is, again, just a transfer of funds within this year's budget, as normally happens before the end of the year. Do I have a motion to pass?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on the resolution to transfer funds in 2022? We do have our department heads here to answer any questions. Is there anybody from the public that would like to ask questions? Council, any council questions? Hearing none, I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Other business, I would like, since Mr. Benversi did not speak during, just the announcement, the NIBC basketball tournament tickets are now available. Can you come forward and just share the dates and what is happening, so everybody gets their tickets early and we're not scrambling, the day of the tournament like last year because everybody wanted a seat.
Earlier today, we put on sale the tickets for the NIBC Invitational, the January 5th through the 7th, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Tickets are available at viewstub.com/Laporte-NIBC. Tickets are $25 each for Thursday, January 5th for 3 games. On Friday, January 6th, they're $40 each. And those include a bonus game featuring the number 3 recruit in the nation playing for Indianapolis Cathedral. They'll be going to Michigan State, unfortunately. Should be a Hoosier. Sorry, Mayor. Going to Chicago Simeon, and then on Saturday, the tickets will be $40 each as well. One other thing to note too, we have VIP tickets available to the public for the first time. On Thursday, they will be $100, and then on Friday, Saturday, they will be $150. Those entitle you to the only courtside seats available at the east baseline and on the stage, and you will also be eligible, or not eligible, but you'll be treated to catering and beverages as well throughout the games.
So we'll continue to push that so everybody has their tickets ahead of time.
Absolutely.
Is there a way to buy tickets without going online? Can you buy, or?
We will have tickets available by tomorrow afternoon, thanks to Hawkins Print Shop at the Civic. And also, we are soliciting sponsorships. You can get a hold of Mark Schreiber at mschreiber@cityoflaportein.gov or at 219-326-9600.
And then Veterans Day, November 11th, Friday morning.
Veterans Day ceremony is November 11th at 10 a.m., I believe, and then we'll have a special announcement coming in regards to
Evening event.
an appetizer for the NIBC tourney coming up that evening.
So there's no reason we can't pack the house for the veterans. Please, everybody, pass the word, mark your calendar. November 11th, it's an hour ceremony to recognize our veterans that put their life on the line for our freedom. So please, make sure everybody is there and set that time.
One of my favorite pictures we have hanging up in the office at the Civic is of the 1939 Veterans Day ceremony, and you would think it was Times Square on New Year's Eve. It is packed. Everything, bleachers, balcony, floor. So let's get out there and support our veterans, please, that day.
Thank you. And I know LEAP will also be putting out information on that as well to all their members to make sure we pack the house. Any other comments?
Former Lalomere basketball player Jordan Poole just signed a $140 million NBA contract, just to give you some context of the type of talent that's playing in this event.
Brett, he might be a great opportunity for sponsorship.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Everybody have a great night. Thank you.